Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for yet another WorldTempus session with the WorldTempus Showcase. And as you might have observed, we're not exactly in the office today. In fact, we're somewhere pretty special. We're somewhere special every time that we come to you, but I'm just going to, because the light in the room isn't really doing us any favors, I'm just going to duck out of the frame for a second and see if you can guess where we're at today. And you might get a sense of that magnificent view in the background, just out of the window. And if you're guessing that we're in the heartland of Switzerland, you'll be right. And not only are we in the heartlands of Switzerland, we are in the heart of the watch industry, where all the most magnificent things, some of the most magnificent things in watchmaking are made. We're in Chaux-de-Fonds. And for some of you who are lucky enough to have visited the Jaquet Droz manufacturer, you may find the surroundings familiar because that is in fact exactly where we are. We are in the manufacturer of Jaquet Droz, where they make the most exceptional timepieces that you may have laid your eyes on. And without wasting any more time, I'm going to switch over to the internal video camera so that we can have a close-up look at the Tourbillon Skelet Saphir, which you guys may have already seen on social media, on WorldTempus definitely. And just to get a closer look, you guys will remember that it was a few years ago, I think it was in 2018, 4 years ago already, that Jaquet Droz first presented their skeletonized watch, the Skelet 1. And this is of course taking things to a whole other level, completely in a sapphire case to emphasize the transparency and lightness of this movement. And you can see that, it's an automatic winding timepiece, but the rotor is also skeletonized and fitted with an exceptionally transparent construction so as not to detract from the overall aesthetic of this movement. And you can see here the familiar double circle in the shape of number 8 that we associate with Jaquet Droz. It's one of the icons, the aesthetic icons of this brand. And I'm going to expand this little collection a bit just by showing you how different this watch can look when it's switched up in terms of color. And this, there you go, apologies for the little audio interruption. We are in one of the showrooms of the manufacturer, and we are surrounded by ticking timepieces, both modern and a bit more antique. And that's one of the chiming clocks just hanging on the wall. And you can immediately see, coming back to the Tourbillon Skelet Saphir, which is the skeletonized tourbillon in sapphire, what a difference it makes just to have a different color in terms of the bridges on the dial and the strap. Something fresh and cool, perfect for the summer. And just to show that this is an entirely fresh Jaquet Droz that we are talking about, that will be telling new stories in a fun and different way, here is a little new addition to the trio. Exactly the same movement, as you might be able to tell, but with something a bit more daring, something a bit more bold, something that you might be looking for if you want something very expressive and out of the ordinary to wear on the wrist. You can see the amount of design thought that has gone into this creation. The Tourbillon Skelet Saphir skull with one of the rubies in the movement being placed in the eye socket of the skull, just a little wink there, or a clin d'oeil for the person wearing the watch, in a if you know, you know sort of expression. Now, these are beautiful timepieces, and we're very privileged to be able to bring them to you in exclusivity. I guarantee you that you will not really be discovering them on video live anywhere else, but I just wanted to show you something that is my absolute particular favorite, and it is this model here, which has a dial in opal. And I'm just going to move these other pieces to the side. And furthermore, turn the light to something a bit more favorable for the gem-like quality of this opal, which, as you know, is semi-precious. Some might say precious. It certainly looks beautiful. Just to focus on the little iridescence, the iridescent inclusions that are part of opal and its natural state. And you probably haven't seen this before. I know I definitely haven't seen this before, which is when you normally see opal used in timepieces or in jewelry, it comes with an opaque backing that allows you to fully discover the colors and really gives it that sort of opalescent sheen. Now this has been cut extremely fine to show off its translucence, and also to really bring out the iridescent inclusions within. And on the wrist, as well as held up against the light, it is truly spectacular. There it is. And I fully encourage you to try any way you can to discover it or have it in your hands in real life, because once you set eyes on it, I guarantee you, you will fall in love. This piece is 400,000 Swiss francs, I believe, including tax. And the amount of craftsmanship and mechanical skill that goes into this watch is really out of the ordinary. Just to let the autofocus come in and bring out once again that beautiful aesthetic sheen of the opal dial. Next up, I want to share with you something which I know fans of Jaquet Droz have been waiting for to hear more news of. Just hiding it beneath this cloth for a couple of seconds, giving it a bit of polish. But you guys may remember that a couple of years ago, it was announced that the famed illustrator and artist John Howe will be collaborating with Jaquet Droz. And if that name sounds familiar to you, that's because that's the artist and illustrator famed for his work on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, the legendary author of the Lord of the Rings novels trilogy and also The Hobbit. And here you can clearly see that legendary expression of myth, of stories that have really made themselves into popular legends, I would say. And this is the Jaquet Droz Dragon Automaton. And not only is the remarkable sculpture, the micro sculpture work done on the dial, but also all along the case. There you go. With the little micro rotor at the back, signaling that this is still, after all, a practical automatic winding movement. And if you see this little circular component at the back, going in for a bit more detail, some of you who are a bit more familiar with the technical side of watchmaking may recognize this as a regulator, as a centrifugal regulator. Now, a regulator for what? Now, the clue is in the name of the watch, because as I mentioned before, this is the Dragon Automaton. And you guys already know that Jaquet Droz is extremely famous and experienced. It's part of their heritage, it's part of the patrimony, it's part of the legend of Jaquet Droz that they make absolutely stunning automaton watches. And I'm just going to push this little button on the side to watch the watch come to life. As you can see, the dragon is articulated, the scales on its body turn, its tail moves, its mouth. The dragon, in fact, comes to life. And I'm going to do it once more, a little closer to the camera, waiting for that autofocus to come in so that we can really get into the details of this mechanical marble. And of course, that richness of detail, once more, is completely matched, complemented by the decoration on the case itself. I want to point out also that not only is this a mechanical marble, but level of artisanal skill that has gone into creating this dragon. According to the ideas and plans of John Howe, supremely talented, are something that made this an absolute joy to experience. So there you have it, our exclusive little look into the new watches of Jaquet Droz, which you'll be seeing more of, I'm pretty sure, for the rest of 2022. And yeah, just thank you so much for joining us for this video. Please remember to like it and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more contents like this. And this is me, Suzanne, signing off from Chaux-de-Fonds, from the manufacturer Jaquet Droz. Saying see you guys next time, and hope you enjoyed what we showed you today. See you soon.